So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a 3-part series of the forward interior closeout. And I'm back. I'm just launching the second part. I made these two little L angle brackets out of 20,000s left over from something, and basically gonna rivet these on. I cut a couple of flush rivets down. I know you're not supposed to really countersink into that thinner metal, but it's such a relatively non-structural part. And on the top, you see I put a couple of screw holes. It's gonna go right into the floorboards. I think that was a pretty good idea. Bolt that onto that and screw it into the floor. This thing really solid and happy. That was a good idea. I suppose you could take the bottom flange and just actually bend it outward, similar to the piece that goes there, but I kind of liked the extra rigidity this gave you. I seem to be using rigidity a lot. One last thing is to get rid of these kind of gaps here, like the way this wants to sit. Kind of a gap in there and a gap in there. So I made a little piece of metal shaped like this, and oops, I'm just gonna basically just sit right on top of that. That'll make sure this line is straight, kind of fills the hole around there underneath the cage tube, and I can just sand it and blend it all in with that and a little bit of Bondo. And I think I had these ideas of making like some side panels that come up to here. There's like a little pocket in there, but that's a project for another day. Get these blended in, and they fit really nice. Sorry, not blended in, but glued in. Now I'm going to blend them in. A little bit of body filler, and basically just try to mitigate the lump. Also, today at work in our little paint booth, I painted this thing. This was a lot of work, but came out beautiful. And yeah, pretty happy with that. My switches, my mounts, the little brace, going from aluminum into plastic. Fused this together, kind of gave it a rounded look so it all flows. And these are where the side panels mount into. So I'm sanding away, and I really like how this is coming out, other than being dusty and dirty. And you know when you have a monotonous task and your mind kind of starts thinking about other things? Well, in this case that's a good thing, because the thing that I thought of is that, I believe it's this one, I need to put the hole for the fuel selector. So kind of glad I thought of that. I would have figured it out eventually. Bullseye. So that is the center screw for the fuel selector. What I did is I basically just put a piece of masking tape on the back side, and I could kind of feel where it was pushing up against this, and then screwed it into position and marked it on the masking tape, drilled a hole, and there we go. I'll make the hole bigger. Okie dokie, got this guy in. I think it needs to come out a little bit. It's very much recessed and actually rubs up against the little valve sign there. So I've got to figure out how to do that. I know there are newer instructions, I think, say to space it out with the, whatchamacallit, washers. So, but I'll look at that tomorrow. Good night. Yeah, it looks like I riveted this guy in back in the day, and I think I'm going to drill out these two rivets and then just use like an 8/32 screw spacer, nut and bolt. See where that takes us. I tried it with this nut, which kind of simulated a 1/4 inch spacer or so. That was a little too much, so I made an 1/8 inch spacer that hopefully fits between the valve clamp and the cage tanks. And then I made this guy because I found it kind of hard to hold the nuts behind there. Hopefully you can just kind of hold that there, and once you tighten one you can get the other. Let's see if it fits. The good news is that the holes all lined up perfect, and that was easy to bolt on there. The bad news is that the 1/8" spacer is not thick enough, so I gotta make one out of 3. It seems like 1/4 inch was too much, so 3/16 I guess it will be. So, but I don't have any 3/16 stock here, so. Alright, never mind. It just steepened the angle on the actual handle, and that fixed everything. So now it fits perfect in there. And on that note, good night. The time has come to cover. This should be fun. These 2 side pieces came out fabulous. Very happy with them. They're a little intricate, getting all that nitty-gritty stuff inside there. Really love the alcantara. Nice to work with. Then I went to do these, and I remembered that I wanted to put an extra brace in here. I know I have my little pocket that supports it, but I feel like the outside was still kind of vulnerable, so I just bent up some 20,000s, and of course, because these bends are different, that one's a little bigger than this one. They're all custom made, and my thought is just, it would suck if you had the seat out and I don't know, somebody leans on it there and tweaks it all. I know you can bend it back, but I figured all the weight I added, that's not gonna make a difference. It'll only make it stronger. There you have it. Doubled up on here. I just put 3 flush rivets on either side, and it makes up a big difference. Really like the way this is coming together. Got this thing in there. I ended up just putting countersinks rather than the rivets and the other one, so matching hardware. I'm gonna fly better, and yeah, tomorrow I'll wrap those. For now I'm going to bed. Good night. Today is the big wrap-a-thon day, and yeah, it's probably the most rewarding part of the job. Got this one done. Don't have it bolted in yet because my pieces underneath are missing, but looking good. I use contact cement through a spray gun and just kind of cut these around here. The edges I burn through with a soldering iron, and even some of these little seams here I kind of melt. It makes the high spots disappear. Anywhere there's screw holes I melt it with a soldering iron as well. So got that piece left, then I can assemble those onto that. And what was the other thing I was doing? Oh yeah, the boots. The boots got to go onto those braces, and those braces get bolted onto here. So it's going to look really good in a minute. Maybe not. All right, one down, a couple of stick boots to go. And this, boys and girls, is why I don't read instructions. Half joking. Something as petty as the little strings going backwards, facing the seat. I've never even given this a thought. I just assumed they go like this, but now the strings are facing forward. So yes, if I were to put it this way, like there's no way it would sit properly unless it was like way down there. It just seems weird. Anyway, strings are going forward. All right, let's put it together. Very excited. Well, that concludes the forward interior closeout. That's the back. We got my console. I already showed that with that. This here, I countersunk that so it kind of sits flush. I built that up. I used all black stainless 1/2-inch screws. These ones are the original ones that go into the tenement clips. I put a little spacer in here to make that solid. This is solid. That's all painted. This is just SCM paint, and it got beat up from me putting these raw panels in and hitting it and scratching it, but you can just respray it and it fixes it. These boots, this idea was pretty good. This is actually removable and it's part of the brace. And then I just put a wire tie up here. It's actually easier than I left these because they look cool. Carpet I'm still working on. I have some thicker carpet that goes in here. And I don't know if I'll just paint this black up here or have a carpet stop there, or still overthinking that. And I think this was a really good idea of putting that bar on there so it screws down. But really happy. These things are cool. Stick your phone in there. It won't fall out the door, even if you're inverted. Added little pieces here just to fill the gaps. You know, when you open the door, you see the first thing, and same thing here, fill the gaps around there. Then I made this one piece. So, yeah. Anyway, next up is the doors, and yeah, and then hopefully George will have the avionics done. We'll get that in and get the motor mounted. Thank you for watching, and I'm tired, but I'm happy.